Midjourney. Uy, 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 uy.
I recently discovered an image that I had created using version 1 of Midjourney. I must admit that it made me laugh quite heartily, just like this otter here. The quality of the images in version 1 was, let me put it this way, still relatively modest. And so the idea was born to take a short trip back in time to show how Midjourney has developed over the years. I'm pretty sure most people only know Midjourney from versions 5, 6 or 7 onwards. Perhaps that's why these images, given the rapid development of AI, will raise a smile for you too. For this brief journey into the past, I will only use the versions with full numbers. Otherwise, it would be a bit too much. If you want to try an older version yourself, simply click on the settings icon and specify the default model there. Alternatively, enter the desired version in the prompt by adding --v space version. Let me inspire you right away. We'll get started immediately. As you may already be familiar with from my other videos, you will see a grid with corresponding images. In the top row, we see versions 1 to 4 from left to right. Below that, on the left, is version 5, and further to the right are versions 6 and 7. My first comparison was a funny ninja cookie. Exactly what you would expect to see at the start. Something sweet combined with something sharp. The result in version 7 shows the full potential of Midjourney. Dynamic, creative, simply cool. Next, we see a sheep on a hill. I was inspired by a prompt on the Midjourney homepage. When it comes to text, AI platforms have been struggling for a long time, and Midjourney is no exception. In this third example, I'm trying to show how the portrayal of people, in combination with text, has developed. In terms of detail and impact, Midjourney's images always have that little bit extra. But when it comes to text, the platform sometimes lags behind quite a bit. You have probably already had experience with this. I deliberately tried out different styles and levels of complexity. Here is a pencil drawing of a little kitten. Initially just a scribble, it has now become a very delicate drawing. You probably know the next one. The hype surrounding the Yeti. Armed with a microphone, he roams the forests and interviews unsuspecting hikers. The entire concept is, of course, heavily influenced by the capabilities of VO3. In response to the monkey on roller skates, here is a similar interpretation. A turtle on a skateboard. This is the result on the theme of the Wild West. A cowgirl. Next, I wanted to see how the realization of anatomy, here using the example of hands, had developed. Although we see relatively good results here, this is still the biggest challenge alongside the text. When we look at versions 1 to 4, we can't help but marvel at the individual stages. I particularly like the next example, a black bear underwater. What was initially just a black spot with eyes has now become a dangerous beast. The implementation in version 7 is particularly impressive. That's why I immediately used this image as a thumbnail for one of my latest videos. A big thank you, by the way, to a colleague who figured out this prompt addition. In this specific case, fear of deep water. I then asked ChatGPT, tell me, do you know of any other phobias? And yes, there are, for example, the fear of tall buildings or the fear of empty rooms. Try it out for yourself. You'll get some unexpected results that don't follow the standard prompt input. Not sure how to phrase your prompt? ChatGPT is a great place to start. The next example is an attempt at a snapshot in sports. Apart from the unidentifiable results of the first versions, the implementation of the prompt, the moment a ball hits a man's face, in version 3 is relatively amusing. Almost like a caricature, versions 6 and 7 are already very well realised. A shocked look, blurring, movement, and the ball just before it hits. You're probably familiar with the computer game. Here's an attempt to create a corresponding image. What initially looks like smudges already has a recognisable message in version 4. Version 7 naturally tops all the others. The gangster, a race car, palm trees, the sunset. Midjourney realises this scene in a very impressive, illustrative way. All in all, and certainly millions of training data later, Midjourney can do it. The AI platform knows where it comes from. When I evaluate my daily use, Midjourney is the undisputed number one. What I find a bit unfortunate are the sometimes very random results with Omni Reference. It doesn't work 100%. Alternatively, you could use Runway frames or the new model from FLUX called Kontext.
Midjourney.
As a final conclusion, you know what you're getting with Midjourney. The results are almost perfect. Let me add, not always. There will certainly be new updates soon. People are already talking about version 7.1 or even 8. There is also supposed to be a video model, but when exactly it will be released is still up in the air. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening. See you soon. Your channel, AI, Now You Know.